Start the meeting. We'll call the meeting to order 12:03. And is there any additional agenda items someone wants to bring up? No. Is there any conflicts of interest to report? Seeing none, we'll proceed to the consent agenda. Note that an amended agenda was sent out, and we added the letter this morning from Mr. Mark Brown. So that's on the amended consent agenda. So can I have a mover and a seconder for the consent agenda? Rob and okay, Chris. Okay, Rob and Chris, thank you. With the adoption of minutes, is there any questions concerning the agenda from the October 20th meeting that are attached? Is there any questions or comments? Could I have a mover and a seconder to approve? Okay, I'll move it. Is there a seconder to approve the minutes from the last meeting? Okay, Stephen, thank you. Okay, can we move on to new business updates? Rick, do you want to start with the 4.1, the ITB presentation?
Yeah, so I'd like to welcome our Northern Ontario Defence Readiness Program team, Mike Rocco and Kim, as you can see up in the corner there, or on my screen, she's up in the corner. Anyhow, they're here to present to the board an update on their activities to date and all the good things that they've got going on. So they've got a brief presentation prepared and they'll be available for questions when we're done. So I'll turn it over to you, Mike, if you want to get started.
Sure. Thank you, Rick. Good morning, everyone. For everyone that I haven't met personally, my name is Mike Rocco, and I'm the program manager for the Northern Ontario Road to Defence program, and the coordinator is Kim Rose. Kim's not a stranger to Sault Ste. Marie. I believe she worked for the city for a few years ago. So just to give you a little quick background, I come from the private sector. I left the corporate world about 6-7 years ago to consult with various different prime military contractors and some businesses in Northern and Southern Ontario. So this program is sponsored by FedNor, or funded by FedNor and NOHFC, and it was a 3-year preliminary project to help all the Northern Ontario SMEs get ready for the defense industry. Playing in the defense world is no fun. It's a long dating service. It's I've been at it for over 12 years. I come with about 37 years of manufacturing, production, and supervisory and sales marketing support. So if you had a chance to look at our quick presentation, the reason for this board is that now the city of Sault Ste. Marie and the former colleagues that started this program, this could be extended another 3 years. Very, very similar to the Sudbury Export Program, which is now on its 3rd renewal. The boys and the staff over the export program, Scott Rainey and his team, is doing a great job. So Sault Ste. Marie took this challenge on. Both Kim and I, not just because it's Sault Ste. Marie based, it's any win in Northern Ontario is a win. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. And there's some big wins that are happening very, very close to the Soo, in the Soo, moving on. So to give you a little background, I believe we have a quick slide presentation. I'm going to run it through it real quick, just so that I'm sure there's going to be a few little questions later on what we do. Okay. Samantha, are you going to do that, or?
Yeah, I can share my screen with it.
Thank you. Excuse me. So now, can I control the slide, Samantha, or are you going to have to do it?
I will have to go through it.
Okay. Well, obviously, because of our Canadian affiliate, the American prime contractors are the target. They want to spend their money in Canada, and that's the reason for our joint partnership with Canada and the US. Okay, Sam. As I said, the Ontario North Economic Development Corporation, 1DC, barely known, consists of the 5 Northern Ontario cities and funded by NOHSC and FedNor. And then we have a little map on the third slide that just gives you the outline of the territory. And we came up with the banner, "We the North," because we have to work together to win some of these big deals. The next slide shows you where we have been involved in and are involved in the aerospace, and everybody kind of takes that F-35 up there and they shake their heads. Says, what do we do in the aerospace? Well, we have a lot of work on the aerospace side. So the land vehicles and the fabrication, machining, and production side is our key claim to fame here. And the fact that Algoma Steel on the next slide, as you'll see, is one of the major producers of armor plate, a very, very well sought after plate. Our companies, both Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario, and the US, really don't use them enough. They've just been certified also for the shipyard for marine plate. And we have 2 Canadian companies that secured a couple of billion-dollar contracts, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, and they have subsidiaries in the Thunder Bay area also. Okay, Sam. Kim, you want to throw this one around?
Sure. And what it comes down to, what we're really doing is we're assisting, providing, supporting, developing, and representing Northern SMEs, including manufacturing, fabrication, and services, not to mention the research and development, all post-secondary. We have many colleges and universities that we have on board for our program. And ultimately, what we want to do is make the North. We want to showcase what we can do up here. And the only way to do that is to pound pavement like Mike and I have been doing. And just getting the word out there. Obviously, we have to get our businesses defense ready. That's what the program is all about. So we are providing funding for certifications such as ISO 9000. We're doing cybersecurity. That was one of our mainstays throughout the COVID because we couldn't travel, obviously, to do site tours. We have 10 companies actually that are on their way to having cybersecurity. One of the very first companies actually in Canada. I've gotten the numbers from ISED. There's only 10 and we are adding 10 more. So we're pretty proud about that.
The requirements on the next slide, Sam, the requirements, as Kim said, the cybersecurity is key. We jumped on the bandwagon because there's a lot of, I'll give you a real quick story. The U.S. Air Force developed a cooling fin for their new F-35s when they were running over the desert in Iran and Iraq. And it was getting heated up anyway. They had a prototype. They're ready to go to manufacturing to install it. They landed in China for one of the summits. And lo and behold, guess what they were testing 7 years ago was the cooling fin that was designed by the US. They figured anywhere between $600 billion of technical data is stolen from the US, Canada, and worldwide each year. So on the next slide, well, also and to have the control goods certification, which we sponsor, I sat on the board in Ottawa for one of the major projects coming up here back in 2017, and still on that board as a advisor. So, which is a volunteer board. The Defense Readiness Program. We give it the chance to the companies to get some gap analysis done, where we'll give them 80% of the funding up to $5,200. And it's not only for the military side; it's to create their own gap analysis for their own business. Sometimes you walk in the door and you step over the same thing every single day, and it kind of depicts that. We already, well, because of COVID, we only have 3 or 4 completed right now. However, I think we have 8 or 9 in the queue to open up. The phase 2 study. That's where the meat and potatoes comes in for the cybersecurity, the marketing, the ISO, and then of course the defense ready in phase 3 includes a lot of the traveling to the prime contractors. On our next slide is just our applications. We won't breeze through them. They're quite self-explanatory and fairly detailed, right to the point. So we don't need to go through it all. Keep going, Sam. Kim, go ahead. Give give her the good news.
Over the next several years, Northern Ontario could capture 1% of planned military spending. This would amount in excess of $40 million. Now, as Mike would say, that is going to increase. Mike, if you want to comment on how much
Sure.
more.
Sure. The LVM contract and the ERC contracts, two very, very large people. Contracts that are coming due, probably we'll see the RFPs by late next year. However, this project's going to run out at the end of December 31st next year, and we're looking for the Sioux Economic Development Board to give it a blessing so we can reapply to extend this contract. On the next slide, the military contractors that is working with us, as you can see, are quite extensive. Matter of fact, probably General Dynamics Land System is probably no stranger to Sault Ste. Marie. They have been having ties with the Sioux for the last 20 years with a local fabricator, and does about, I think it's anywhere from $1.5 to $2 million annually at that location. So that, I mean, that's just existing business, ongoing business. They've had it when GM had owned General Dynamics. On the next slide, and of course we've put Algoma Steel on the marine side and together with the large guys, Irving Shipbuilding and Seaspan in the West Coast, and they've opened up some eyes, and we're proud to report that they're talking to these people. The marine plate program for Algoma Steel is quite impressive, and while of course the armor plate is so well sought after, but the marine plate's something new to them. And our friends up at Heddle Marine up in Heddle Shipyards up in Thunder Bay is they're doing a lot of dialogue with Algoma, which hasn't been done before until this program started. On the funding we provide right now, we're only about 9. Well, Kim, go ahead. You're the master of the numbers here.
To date, we have only been able to give out 97,000 and change due to some hiccups that we've had in the program. We are actually waiting on our addendums to go through the FedNor level in order for us to move forward to give funding again. So we are sitting at only 97,944. But as you see on the next slide, this is what we have in the queue right now. Over the last 6 months is $87,800 that we want to be able to provide to our companies. And it's just sitting in the queue until we get the approvals that we need to move forward on this. Once we do have those approvals, we can move forward. That number is going to increase probably, I would say double.
Yeah, I agree.
Double to triple.
This addendum for this program that we needed from FedNor to sign, our FedNor rep is on a medical sick leave, and it's been in the hands of back and forth. We don't know if we're going to see any addendums until maybe the end of this year or the first quarter of next year, which is going to hold us back a lot. Sam, on the next slide, right now, this is unheard of, by the way. I secured in private sector a contract worth just shy of $5 million by myself. Right now, we have 3 companies working together. They've already secured a $6 million order. They're already working on it right now. And matter of fact, I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee in December for a 3-year extension on this contract, which will probably get into the $18 to $20 million range. So the success is just phenomenal. And I hope the Sioux board gives us their blessing to run the application starting probably in January. And I think the last slide is just the return on the investment. You know, Kim, go ahead. You can talk the numbers on this one.
These numbers are not reflective of the actual administrative costs that our program uses up, such as phones, systems, programming, and whatnot. This is only reflective of what we've given out. So for our 97,000 and change with our 6 million, this is what it turns out to be. So our ROI is looking fantastic. And if we continue this program, we can look at even higher numbers for next year.
Lady and gentlemen, thanks for the opportunity to give us a little overview of what we do. And I'd love to answer, both Kim and I would love to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, Chris?
Yeah, at the risk of sounding dumb here, I still don't understand what you do.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand what you do.
Okay, well, good question, Chris. What do you do, first of all?
I own several businesses in Sault Ste. Marie, including a consulting firm worldwide.
Oh, perfect. What we do is we take all the small businesses, such as your local fabricators, machine shops in Sault Ste. Marie, North Bay, and in the north, and we go in there and introduce them to the prime contractors to get them defense ready so they can get a piece of this pie. We have already have about 26 people that are controlled goods certified and are talking to the primes every day through us and with us.
So you introduce producers to military contractors.
Correct.
Got it.
Because the small business, the SMEs in Northern Ontario, they don't have the manpower or the finances to take one person and hire them as a defense specialist to start pounding the pavement, to go to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to go to Indiana, to go to Chattanooga or Pennsylvania. And they don't have the contacts open to get the contacts in the door. As you know, as a small business owner, it takes quite some time to open up a door. Once the door is open, I've been at this game for a couple of years, quite a few years, and the contacts are well represented. We've also had the NOHSC also put on, or sorry, FedNor also put on a Northern Ontario Road Defense Conferences, and it happened twice in Sault Ste. Marie, and the last time was at Quattro, where we invited 5 prime contractors, and we had about 225 participants that day, where they had a chance to do some B2B meetings with the contractors. We've just taken that to the next level to get a little more personalized and to get them ready, especially on the cybersecurity side and the controlled goods certification side.
Okay, I do have a couple more questions, but I wanted to give other people a chance too.
Shoot.
So when you're showing an ROI of like 3,000%, but you don't include all of your costs, like what's the actual ROI when those costs are included?
Well, the only costs are eliminated from there is our salaries and any travel expenses. Okay.
Sure, but like what other costs would there be?
That's all the costs that we have outstanding right now is travel and salaries.
So what's the actual ROI when those costs are brought in?
I can send it back to Rick and he can tell you exactly what the ROIs are. Let me do some math.
Yeah. So, okay. So my last question is like, what are you actually asking us to approve then? Because it really sounds like what you're asking us to do is to like fund something.
No, we're not asking you for any money. NOHSC and FedNor, we need a place to hold our hat, whether it be Sault Ste. Marie or Thunder Bay or Timmins. It started with the former Sault Ste. Marie Economic Development staff. They started it, and it's up to you if you want to continue it. It's by no means you have to do it. That's for sure.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'd like to thank Mike and Kim for coming today, and thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Rick.
Take care.
Thanks.
Okay, continuing, Rick, small business and entrepreneurship centers activities. Do you want to take it, fill us in on that, please?
Sure. So right now we in the Millworks, we're working with the starter company plus contenders on their pitches. Very shortly, we'll see if they qualify for the funding. And there's about $22,000 still left in their budget to fund these additional starter company plus contenders. So we do have some budget left there that they will be assigning and making sure we get out to businesses. We launched an email campaign in support of the Chamber of Commerce. So we have an email list of most of the businesses in Sault Ste. Marie that we need to update, but it's still fairly complete. And it's with regards to the Trade Accelerator program that they're offering, which is a 4-fee training program to help businesses develop their export capabilities. We're also working on web design right now. We just launched our new website, which is welcome to ssm.com/invest. And it looks a lot better. I think it's a cleaner interface than it used to be. And we also want to make sure that we incorporate in there the ability for local realtors to go in and update their listings for any commercial listings and give them access to it. So we're just getting that program completed right now. Any question on the small business and entrepreneurship activities? Okay, that being said, then we'll move on to the priority EDC projects. Industrial lands. We just launched an RFP last week to determine a broker of record for all industrial lands that are held by the city. So right now, if you come to Sault Ste. Marie and you want to start up an operation, you don't see the almost 100 acres that the city has available. It's nowhere, it's not listed. The only way you're going to find out about it is if you talk to me or one of the people that work for me. So what the intent of this RFP right now is to get out there in front of the local realtors, get somebody who can properly market this land for us, get it out in public view. So if I, as a business investor, come into Sault Ste. Marie and I'm looking for industrial land, I will have visibility right off the bat on the lands available from the city, as well as the rest of the available commercial properties out there. So that's in process. We'll expect to have that wrapped up by early January. So I'll report back in January on who's been selected and the go forward strategy is there. Any questions on that?
Rick, can you see, I don't think I got my camera working here. I'm working from my phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I obviously I'm a realtor and I don't want to, I don't know if I have a conflict here, but I didn't get an RFP emailed to me. So I don't know who actually is getting these. Are they going out to all the realtors, or is there specific realtors that you're using, or?
Should be going out to everybody, Sam. Let me follow up with our purchasing people to make sure that they've hit everybody.
Yeah, I didn't receive anything. So I just wanted to figure out how you're doing that. So.
Yeah, great. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll follow up right after this call.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
That's a good idea.
Great. Okay, so we'll move on. Canada Water Agency, which this board has provided some funding for. If you want to take a look at where we are to date, you can check cwassm.ca. That's the Canadian Water Agency, our pitch website. So we've developed the website now. We've got pretty much everything lined up. We've got a video that's been completed with the mayor. A little bit of editing left to do on that. And we're not going to put the actual video with the mayor up on the website until we receive notification from the feds on when the actual RFP is going to come out and when they're going to put this out to the market. So we're kind of holding it in our back pocket until that point in time. So that's pretty much up and running. The website does look good. And I think we have a relatively good chance at this one. So looking forward to this one. Any questions on it?
Rick, the other cities interested, is it still pretty much, I think it was Regina the last go round that we heard? Is that pretty much?
It's pretty much, at this point, it's still Regina. I mean, the challenge you have with this is that it's still somewhat unofficial because the government has really not released a tender document or put it out to the market. They've just, they've announced that they're going to have a Canada Water Agency. So Regina proactively went out and built their YouTube video and got out in front of it. And when we heard, we thought, well, we need to get out in front of this as well too. So
Sure.
That's essentially where we are.
Okay. I'm assuming you highlight the fact that we have a lot of water here versus somewhere in the prairies. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Key selling feature.
A key selling feature, absolutely. From there, we'll move over to the film industry requests. So I'll turn the floor over to Travis if you want to present your piece there, please.
Sure. Thanks, Rick, and good afternoon, everyone. So I'm presenting today. We're looking for, just to clarify, we are looking for a positive recommendation from the EDC so that we can bring a CDF application to council. And we're also seeking additional funds from the EDC's reserve. So I'm going to talk initially about the CDF application, and I'll do a quick recap. I know we had a preliminary discussion, I believe last month, and I'll just recap some of the statistics that we've seen over the past few years with film. So, our endeavor into the film attraction and retention program really began in 2019. Once we acquired a film, television, and digital media coordinator as part of the funding that we received through FedNor and the Future Sault Ste. Marie project. So we had a total of 16 productions over that period. Obviously, 2020 had a significant impact, and we only had one production over that year. Total spend from the film industry in Sault Ste. Marie over that period was about 8.6 million, for an average of, when you strip out 2020, 4.3 million per year. In addition to that, our staff through the film department also supported the relocation of Rolling Picture Company to Sault Ste. Marie, and to date they've invested just over $1 million and have hired, I believe, 6 employees right now, or sorry, 7 employees as of right now, 6 of which are from Algoma University and Sault College. The unfortunate part for us is that the funding from FedNor concludes at December 31st of this year. And with the current state of the budgets, the municipal budgets, we did not have funds available for this position. So we see, on a long-term basis, and definitely over the next few years, we'd like to continue to kind of assess our ability to attract not only more film and television productions, but also supporting industries. I think we were on a great trajectory there, and obviously COVID threw a wrench into our program. And again, this year we saw it recover with approximately 7 productions, and we're hoping to kind of grow that going forward. So we have, as of this moment, we've got 8 productions teed up for next year. It's all tentative. There's typically a number of things that we've got to work through, but as of right now, we've got 8 productions that have identified their interest in filming in Sault Ste. Marie. And we're currently working with those groups to confirm that they will follow through with their plans. Currently, the role of the film and television coordinator is essentially twofold. So there's an attraction and marketing component, which I believe is self-explanatory. We're making pitches to various film producers. We're hosting familiarization tours. We're actually bringing not only producers, but location scouts to Sault Ste. Marie. We're trying to show them the services that we have here, and the diversity of shots based on our natural and man-made terrain that we have, whether it's the farmlands east of the city, Lake Superior, and then we've got the urban environment with a number of industrial partners here, as well as some of the housing that we have available. And the second component is the support component. And really what that is, as we get these films starting to tee up for relocation or production in Sault Ste. Marie, there's a number of back and forth initiatives that occur before they arrive in Sault Ste. Marie. That may be assisting with permits, that may be assisting with approvals for various locations, could be coordinating and facilitating RFPs for food services and hotel services. And then we transition that to, the support that's provided while they're in the community. So, assistance with road closures, any permits that are required for filming on city property, and then just working with the broader public and private businesses to make sure that, filming goes off without a hitch. So at this point, what we're looking for is a positive recommendation through the CDF for $100,000 to help facilitate that program over the next 2 years. And when we look at the breakdown, we're looking at approximately $98,000 for salary, and that includes benefits, and then an additional $50,000 per annum for marketing. We're going out to 3 parties to support this over the course of the next 2 years. Obviously, the EDC is one, through the reserve funds, the City of Sault Ste. Marie through the CDF application, and then we will be presenting to the Tourism Board tomorrow for support for the marketing funds through the Tourism Development Fund. So with that, Rick, maybe I'll open it up for question and further dialogue here. I know, I guess I'll just address one thing. I know we had some inquiries from Mark Brown, and I'm not sure if he's on this call or not. And one of the recommendations was to look at existing staff. And, that is something that we discussed as part of our CDF application. We do have an individual on staff who is currently fully occupied with the marketing initiatives for new resident attraction, and as well as, the other 50% of their time is dedicated to marketing for tourism. That individual is well connected, used to work for Chorus Entertainment, assisted with, film production scheduling, TV scheduling, and working with, pilot projects, etc. That individual is more than fully occupied within their current role. They have the ability to support the marketing efforts, but I would say that they wouldn't necessarily be available, to do the business development portion, which is, bringing individuals for familiarization tours, and also the BD efforts that we've had, by heading down to Toronto, meeting with producers, meeting with industry representatives. And certainly they would not have the ability to support, the production services, which is, pre-production, as I discussed, as well as the productions on the ground. That's just not, a skill set that they have, and certainly not, within the bandwidth that they currently have based on the current work that they're doing. Furthermore, I mean, Tom can speak to this, but, we would have to completely revisit, conversations with HR to assess the opportunity to have more fulsome support on that, which isn't necessarily, slam dunk from our end. So sorry, Rick, I was trying to transition to you earlier, but I forgot about that component. So I thought I'd speak to that, and I'll toss it back to you, Rick and Bill, and open it up.
Just want to say that at the conclusion of this, we want to put a resolution to the board if they're in favor of supporting this $100,000 contribution. So if we get approval today, that can proceed. The city is in budget deliberations, I believe, next month and in January. So we would have an answer today for the city. So I'll open it up to questions. Okay, any comments of this? I'm supportive of it. I think we need to have staff dedicated to this, and it's a 2-year program. So we'll see if we can gain traction with the film community. So I would be in favor of it.
Yeah, Bill, I am too. And Travis, thanks for, like, last time we saw this, I think Tourism Sault Ste. Marie wasn't one of the asks, and it looks like now you've gone and done that. So I appreciate you taking our feedback and addressing it. So I'm in favor of it as well. And I don't know if you need me to move it, Bill. I'm happy to move it.
Okay, I guess is there any other questions or comments the board wants to make on this? Okay, I think I believe, Rick, there's 2 parts to it. We'll approve, if we have a resolution approving $100,000 over 2 years to fund the film industry. And I believe we would also need a second part to approve the city application. Rick, would you need both parts or just the 100,000?
I'm not sure, to be quite frank with you, Bill.
Okay, that's fine.
Rick, if you want me to jump in, Bill, you're
Yeah.
correct. It would be the 2, one, the 100,000 from the EDC reserve, and then the second would be a resolution within a CDF process. EDC provides recommendations for council on the applications. So the second one would be the EDC recommends to City Council that they approve the CDF request.
Yeah, proposal.
And then from our side with the EDC recommendation, we then go to council and council makes their decision on the application. But we have that within our CDF process to have EDF applications recommended by the EDC board. And just so everyone's aware, we do the same thing with tourism, with TDF applications through the tourism board, with our environmental sustainability committee related to requests for our environmental fund.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we can come to a vote. I don't have a resolution crafted, but it would come, I think we could put it towards the EDC provides 100,000 over 2 years to the city of Sault Ste. Marie to support the film industry program. And also the EDC recommends the proposal for the CDF funding for the film industry. Is that, does that fulfill it, Tom?
That would be great. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, can we take a vote? I guess all in favor of this? Okay, everybody in favor. We need a mover and seconder. Is Rob, you mentioned you would move it. Do I have a seconder? Okay, Steve, Rob, Steve, and again, call the vote again. Is there?
I'm in
Okay.
favor, Bill. I'm
Everybody-
sorry.
Pardon?
You'll have to have my voice here, but yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay, so all are in favor and it's passed then. Thank you. Okay, next item is, okay, so we've done that. Rick, we go back to the Algoma Trail Network. That's next on the agenda, an update.
Yeah, and I think I'll, once again, I'll lean on Travis to give you an update on this one because I know he's just getting things wrapped up right now from the year's activities. So Travis, if you'd be so kind.
Sure. Thanks, Rick. So quick update. We concluded construction late last month. Obviously, we're trying to wrap up before the snow fell, and fortunately we were able to. I think the contractor that we did retain did a phenomenal job, and we're seeing and hearing a lot of positive feedback, not only from the community, but over the last prior to snowfall, over the past 3 times that I was up there, we were starting to see individuals from Toronto and Michigan that had heard about the investment that the EDC had made, and we're starting to see some visitation trickle in. Obviously, due to the late completion of the project, we won't see the full benefits until next year, and we would like to do a grand opening of the trails probably later in spring once the flies subside. We also were able to leverage some of the funding through the grant with FedNor to a portion of the trail that we did upgrade was the Trans-Canada Trail, and they were able to match our contribution by 20%. So we received, Bill, you should have received $36,000 to date, or $34,000 to date, and I believe another $6,000 should be transferred shortly. We do have some additional funds remaining under the Algoma Trail Network, a portion of which will go to sign development, which we did not install this year. And then I believe we have some additional funds, some minor funds under the equipment budget. So depending on how the dollar value there lines up, we may request an amendment from FedMore just to move some of the funds all into one line item. Typically, how it works is if you want to move more than 10% of a current line item into a separate line item, you require an amendment from FedNor, and it's a fairly straightforward process, just a request via email. So that concludes my update on that project. And again, would like to thank the EDC board here for your support. I think it's I'm obviously biased here, but I think it's a great project, and I think it will benefit not only the community, current residents, but also tourism on a long-term basis.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, Rick, we'll move to the last two. Oh, sorry, was there?
Hang on, Bill, I've got one. So Travis, how do you intend in the spring to get the word out? Like, what's the way that you're planning on marketing this? We've made this investment. How are we going to convince people to use it locally and come into the community to use it?
Great question, Rob. So we've been fortunate already. We've had some earned media. So we had a publication called Mountain Life Blue Mountain, which is, the primary focus is in the Collingwood area, which is one of our target markets. So they did an article on their own about the trail system that helped us with, the print publications, getting the notice out in that area. And they also did a digital component on their social media, which is great. We have also purchased ads in Canadian Cyclist, and we've got a large marketing production occurring next spring. What we're seeing, and I should clarify, we're also pushing this out through our social media channels, which allows us to kind of get the point on the arrow and target directly those individuals that are involved with the cycling community and specific to mountain biking. The community itself, the cycling community really across Canada is a fairly tight-knit community. It's quite a large community, but what we see is a lot of the attraction occurs from word of mouth. So we've got some events that are going on next year. We've got Crank the Shield coming back. We've got individuals that are coming here from Southern Ontario. They're really spreading the word, and we're anticipating some pretty significant growth.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Rick, can you go through the last two items, the Millworks update and the proposed metrics of 2022, please?
Sure, and they kind of blended together all in 5.7. So the Millworks right now has been working with the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade on a new metric format to track how effective the incubators are. And this is kind of a province-wide initiative. It's not just a local initiative that we've been working on. So this one will come out with a pretty good set of metrics that will be applied to all incubators across Ontario. So it's good to see some standardization of measurement and all that good stuff. So they've been working on it quite a while. Be rolling it out in the new year. Second part of this is we've developed metrics now as well to track our effectiveness as an economic development group. And I've attached them to the agenda. You can take a look at them. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, or we can talk about it right now if you have presupposed questions. But essentially, the plan is right now to benchmark some standard metrics for us as well. We'll take 3 months to get a baseline of performance, and from that, we'll build out the goals for next year and have some firm numbers to track and report on. The intent would be to produce a quarterly report just as an update on the status of activity as well as the effectiveness of that activity. So that has been developed and is in process. And that's what I have on that. Is there any questions on that?
Hey, Rick, I'd love to see what those metrics are. Not right now, but sometime if you can email them to me, that'd be great. Thank you.
Actually, I think they should be in the package.
Okay, maybe I didn't scroll that far.
I think they're in there pretty deep, but they're there.
All right, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? As I say, if you haven't had a chance to go through them and you do have further questions, please feel free to drop me an email and or give me a call and we can discuss them and take from there. Bill,
Okay.
back to you.
Yep. Okay, Rick. Thank you. The next is our upcoming meeting. We're looking at a board meeting of January the 26th of 2022. So if there's any conflicts with that, if you could get back to us or Sam. And the next item, there's no closed meeting today unless somebody has a reason for one. And that comes to our termination of the meeting. I'd just like to wish all the board a Merry Christmas and please stay safe, and we'll see you in January. Can I have a mover and a seconder to terminate the meeting? Rob and Terry. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good day. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
all. Take
Take
care.
care.
Okay,
Merry
bye.
Christmas.